Hello, everyone. Welcome to Thursdays at 3. Here with Allen Shankles. How are you, Mr. Allen?
Hello, folks. How are you today?
You doing good?
I'm doing great.
Good, good,
I'm
good,
doing great.
good. March 31st, the last day of March already.
It's hard to believe.
Weren't we just at the
Just, yeah.
cabaret?
Yeah, without a doubt. It's been flying by.
This month has gone by the quickest, I think. I feel like literally we were just celebrating cabaret and it's already.
We were celebrating Always Patsy Cline about 3 days ago, it seems like.
Right, exactly. We've gone to where the hills are alive.
Yeah.
We went to Double Wide, Texas. We've been a ton of
We've been
places.
all over the world in just a few days.
Rode on a train with a good old murder on the Orient Express. Yeah. Those of you who don't know, I'm Jason Crespin, Allen Shankles, Thursdays at 3, March 31st. I'm so glad that you guys are joining us today. Hopefully everyone is having a great week and enjoying their it's not as windy today as it was
it's
yesterday.
beautiful outside.
Yeah, it's
beautiful.
A good day.
Great day.
We of course always want to remind you what's going on at ALT. Hello, Tracy. Glad to see you watching there. Hope you're having a great week. Dennis Humphrey says, COVID years make everything longer and faster. So true.
They sure did. We lost 2 years. Just 2 years of our lives are just gone.
Yeah. I feel it though.
Yeah,
I feel it in my knees. I was doing choreography last night with Shrek, and oh my gosh, my knees today are killing me. So many people watching. Cindy there says,
well, they know I'm on.
It's true. It's true.
Your viewers come in.
Loved the theater this year from Cindy. So glad, Cindy, that you've been able to watch shows this season, and glad you have enjoyed them. A couple things we want to let you guys know about before we get into talking about our next play at ALT. We always like to talk about what's going on. And for those of you who may not know, business owners or anyone out there that's interested, right now, people can start purchasing their ads in the ALT playbill. And that's huge. That's huge. This past year, we can kind of combined Adventure Space and Main Stage into one overall playbill that goes into all 9 shows of our season for the Main Stage.
Those changes were made by that terrible C word, COVID.
Yes.
We were trying to make something work, and we now liked it so well, we stuck with it.
Yeah, it worked out so well. So if you're interested in getting your ad in our 2022-23 ALT season playbill, there's the contract right there. You can also find that on our website or on an online forum. There's the address there. But you'll notice, super easy. We have some full-page Prime ads.
Did you have to put it over my face?
Well, I can't control where it goes.
That's okay.
It's just
I'll let you off the hook.
Look, it's over mine as well. Look, there you go. See?
Okay.
But the full page Prime ad right there. We have full page ads and half page ads. If you are interested and you want more information, you can always, of course, call our ALT box office. Email me here at jason@amarillo.littletheater.org. I'll send you the link for that Google form and that contract. Super, super easy. We just need to know, I think the deadline's in July, but we're already starting to get, I think we have like 30, 35 people already committed to the next season. We want to make sure your ad gets placed in that playbill.
Well, and you're essentially adding your name to a list of other great businesses that know that ALT is the place to be, and they want to be a part of that.
100%. And it's a huge, huge benefit. Gosh, the numbers, can't even remember them all. It was like 21,000 people just saw shows at the Main Stage. Just the Main Stage, so not even including Adventure Space or anything like that. In a COVID year, which is crazy to think about. So many eyes are going to be on your ad in our ALT playbill. It's a great place to be. People sit for 30 minutes before the show, and all they're doing is looking at the playbill or different things like that. So if you want to be a part of that, we would love to have your support. One of my friends there, David Katz, sending his love. Hey, David, hope you're having a great, great week. Also, we have coming up, this is, I talked about a little while ago, I'm in rehearsals right now for Shrek the Musical.
Bless your heart.
we are swamping around with that ogre. We're having a good time.
60-something cast members?
No, not this time around. It's only about 37.
So only 37. Yeah, well, 37. That's no big deal.
Last night we did some choreography that's going to be a lot of fun in the show that always will get a big laugh. But our cast is killing it. We're in our 3rd week of rehearsal right now. Pretty much getting, repeating some scenes, getting our last kind of scenes blocked. But we're having a good time. So be on the lookout down the pike. Shrek is coming to Amarillo. The ogre's coming.
It's a great cast. Yeah. It's going to be a strong show.
Yeah, super, super fun. Then finally, of course, you only have 4 more chances. The final weekend of Tuck Everlasting, the ALT Academy production. The stellar production is just absolutely beautiful. 4 more chances to see that show. We have Friday at 7:30, 2 shows on Saturday at 2:30 and 7:30, and then they will close that show this coming Sunday at 2:30. Tickets, of course, still available. Call our box office 806-355-9991 there, or visit our website AmarilloLittleTheater.org. And I'm telling you guys, this show is beautiful. One, of course, that tree right there is
That
center
tree is
stage.
spectacular.
I know, it is gorgeous.
Spectacular.
Absolutely beautiful. Of course, the set design by Tanner Robertson, with help, of course, Greg Dunlap, George Cumming, Brandon Confumi, and Noah Lang. The show, of course, was expertly directed by Michaela Guerin, our new Academy director.
Yay, Michaela.
Oh my gosh. It's absolutely fantastic. The dancing that Beth Alexander has done, the vocals by, of course, Academy music director Brandon Beller. But this show is a touching story about a little girl who meets up with a family and gets, kind of the idea of what it is to live her life to the fullest. And I bawled my eyes out at the end of this show. There's Kennedy Cardenas there starring as
You're kind of a crybaby anyway.
but I'm not when I know what's coming.
I'm really a worse crybaby than you are.
You are. It's
I'm
true.
the biggest crybaby in town.
With me, what gets me is when it's unexpected. When I know it's expected, then I hold it together. But when something hits me, like a commercial, a random commercial will come on about like a dog, a puppy.
Yeah, it's those dog commercials that get you every time.
Completely. And so yeah. Speaking of dogs, I gave Michaela a hard time for Bentley not being in Tuck. But now that I think about it, Bentley could have been in Cabaret. I think Sally Bowles could have had a dog.
I had enough trouble with Sally Bowles as it was.
She had that gorgeous mink. That's all the beautiful fur that she needed. So.
No, I didn't mean that, Terry. But I didn't mean it. I promise.
At all. No. I just secretly want to put Bentley in all the shows.
Well, he's getting pretty.
He's upset this year he's not in a show. Yeah, he's upset he hasn't been in a show this season. So, speaking of Tuck, though, Jenna says, I wasn't planning to see Tuck twice, but after seeing it the first time, I think I'm coming Saturday afternoon again. So good. Agreed, Dennis. I saw the school performance and then came back for Friday opening night show. It's absolutely just a stunning show. Absolutely beautiful. I just absolutely loved it. Oh, Michaela says, I would like to know what part Bentley would play in Shrek. Oh, look at that, Michaela, right there.
Way to go, Michaela.
Listen, we have talked about a moment potentially where Bentley could make an appearance. So now, Michaela, you may have challenged me to incorporate that. We will see. Maybe we'll just do it for the show that Michaela comes to see.
If Bentley can't do it, I'm open.
Perfect. Good to know. I love that. But anyway, again, guys, if you haven't seen Tuck Everlasting, not only is it a phenomenal show, but come support these amazing kids, the stellar cast. Over 70 kids involved in the show. And some of these kids are going to be making their last appearance, with the Academy. Some of these seniors that have been a part of ALT for so long. So you are definitely in for a treat when you come see this show. You're absolutely going to love it. So get your tickets this weekend for Tuck Everlasting.
It's all working like it's supposed to, though. See, we raise these kids up learning how to do theater the right way and with passion and attention to detail, and they grow up to be some of the best actors on our stage.
Yeah, very true. And it's crazy. Some of them go off to do other things, and they're like, "Man, I didn't realize how good we had it at ALT." The organization and the structure and the funding that we have, and how big our set is, and stages and stuff like that. So we're blessed, and we're blessed to have their talent and them volunteer and their families. It's a community event for sure.
Absolutely.
We have families that are helping usher and doing concession and backstage, and we could not do that without all of their exquisite and expertise that they give to each and every one of the shows at ALT. So we're very appreciative of that as well. Speaking of volunteers, any point if you're wanting to volunteer, whether you want to help hand out programs or work in concession or just be on the volunteer list, don't forget to email our volunteer coordinator, Miss Lissa, at AmarilloLittleTheater.org, or call, of course, the box office 806-355-9991 and get on that volunteer list. And then, Alan, you have been busy over at the Adventure Space. The reason why we wanted you on to talk about next weekend opens the last Adventure Space show of the season, Art by Yasmina Reza, who, of course, that show was done 20 years ago. That kicked off the Adventure Space series with this play Art. It'll be running April 7th through the 16th. Just around the corner, a week from today, you have opening.
Exactly.
A preview night, yeah. So, Alan, first off, how's the show going? How are things with the show?
Well, I thought I was going to be unhappy all week with them, but last night
Ooh, the tea is coming out. I love it.
Last night they got their heads out, and it was beautiful.
Oh, nice.
It's going to be really, really fun. I've forgotten how clever and really thought-provoking and moving that show can be.
And it's a comedy. Some people forget.
It's a comedy. It's an hilarious comedy, but there's a real coming of understanding about men's relationships and relationships in general.
Yeah.
That kind of permeates through the show. It's a great show. I was in that show that David Keller directed. It was the very first show produced at the Adventure Space, and I did it with Bobby Schaefer and Brad McBride. These guys are far better than we were, I think. But we've done some fun stuff with the set, and it's going to be just a laugh a minute.
I love it. And for those viewers who may not know, who weren't maybe involved at ALT 20 years ago, or don't know the show, what is Art about?
Well, it's about three very close friends that get together a lot. None of them are married, so they're all free and single. One is engaged.
Okay.
But one of the three buys a painting at an art auction, and it's solid white. And so he is so proud of it. He's paid $200,000 for a solid white painting, and his other two friends, of course, think he's lost his mind. And so then that spins us off into the discussion of what is art worth and what's it. Its value changes with who's looking at it,
sure,
how it affects different people.
Yeah.
So that's it in a nutshell.
The big message there. Yeah.
It almost destroys their friendship, but then they come to terms with their differences on that, and it's really, really nice.
Nice. We want to remind, of course, this time around, actors Omar, how do you say Omar's last name? Neverez, thank you. Brandon Graves and Harrison Blount, all three have been a part of ALT shows before. Omar was Lori in Little Women a couple seasons back. Brandon Graves has been a part of tons of shows, even this season with Calendar Girls, and then, of course, Defying Gravity. And Harrison Blount, last year in Good People, was one of our newcomers. Of course, was in Double Wide Texas Christmas, has been part of Cruise and different things like that. So those are the three actors that are in this show at the Adventure Space. Jason Driver, your MC, taking a different seat this time around.
Well, honestly, I told Jason I couldn't be without him I got so used to seeing him every night that I didn't want to just do that show without him. So he's my assistant.
I love that. Assistant to the directors from leading a cast to now leading the cast in a different way,
right,
by being an assistant.
He's been working hard and getting all the props together, and so it's following the book with until they learn their lines, which in this case was none too soon. That might be what I was upset about earlier in the week.
Get those lines down. I love it. First let's talk 20 years ago. The Adventure Space, was your birth child. Was basically a concept that you had, that you wanted to create a space to produce newer work, more maybe cutting edge theater, if you will, stuff that we couldn't put on the main stage. Why did you, and then that staff at that moment, why was Art the show, I guess, that kicked off the Adventure Space?
Well, I had a list of about 20 shows when we opened the Adventure Space that I wanted to do as soon as possible.
Yeah.
They were fantastic pieces of theater literature for the most part. And I went right down the list and started producing those shows. But the bulk of the shows we've done at the Adventure Space, it's very admirable and exciting when you think back about it, because a good portion of them are Tony Award winners or Pulitzer Prize winners.
Yeah.
And it's just most of the literature we do over there is very, very well done. It's exquisite material to work with. That's why the actors like to work in that space.
Sure. And, gosh, yeah.
And I, as a director, I love the Adventure Space. I love it.
Yeah. Well, there's something that's so special about those shows, especially, when you do have Tony Award winning and Pulitzer Prize winning shows. We want to remind our audiences, Art, in fact, won the 1997 Olivier Award for Best Comedy, and then ended up winning the 1998 Tony Award for Best Play.
And it starred Alan Alda and
Alfred Molina.
Sean Connery.
Yes. So a huge, amazing, of course, actors of their time that, of course, went on to do bigger and more amazing things, but they got their start with this kind of production of Art. And the great thing with Art, I think, too, with it being the first show at the Adventure Space that then you start in, and now 20 years later, you're getting to direct that same show.
Well, that's really why I wanted, when we announced this season, I really wanted to do art because it means things have kind of come full circle for me.
Sure. What made you want to be in that show the first time 20 years ago?
Well, I felt like we were starting something that was going to last in history for a long time, and I wanted to be one of the people involved in that.
You wanted 20 years later when you're doing art again to be like, I was in that show. I love that. I love
that. And
that.
to think of all the successes we've had over those 20 years, it's just mind-boggling.
Well, to think about huge shows like Light in the Piazza, where most of those shows would have been on our main stage. That set alone was huge. But then you have hilarious shows like Avenue Q or Putnam County Spelling Bee, which they're lighthearted comedies, but still have a great message as well.
This show is being staged in the round, which means there's audience on all four sides. And that's when as I was visualizing the Adventure Space, that's what I was really thinking would dominate over there, were shows that were in the round or would be smaller. And I actually convinced the board at that time that we wouldn't have to be building big sets for the Adventure Space. We'd do real simple stuff. And they continue to remind me of that statement years later.
I don't think you shared that with anyone else.
Because we built some big stuff. If you saw Cabaret, or if you've seen You're in Town.
100%, for sure. I mean, years, it's been now, 15 plus years. Metamorphoses, we had a swimming pool.
A lot in the middle of the audience.
Yeah, I always love telling people about that show because it was a unique show in itself, and it rained, on the actors in that show. So yeah,
you just can't do that kind of literature in any space, and we're so blessed. None of us really comprehend or realize how blessed we are to have
those two spaces where our audiences can come see a big family-friendly musical like Shrek or, Sound and Music, have that kind of experience. But then some people want to see more cutting-edge theater, a little bit more, maybe a higher rated R. There might be some language or subject matter that isn't as family-friendly, but still these stories are just as important.
Well, this show is so cleverly written, and the relationships are beautiful, and it's just good theater, and you're about four rows from the stage, no matter where you're sitting, and so it's a experience like none other.
I love it. Cindy Claus says, love Adventure Space, see plays that make you think. So true. It's so true. Quality theater that definitely makes you think.
This show, by the way, we were talking about ratings and stuff. This show, if we took out the F-bombs, would be completely harmless. But there are a lot of F-bombs, so I'm just warning people that they were there.
And if you took out the F-bombs, it might be a 2-minute
shorter show. No, it's not that. There aren't that many, but if we took them all out, we might shave a minute and a half off the show or something.
But some of those moments are definitely important to have that language of what's going on with these characters, and
Well, there's a particular sequence where one of them says, "You screwed up my evening," and I'm using that as a euphemism there. And the other one says, yes, you screwed up my evening. I screwed up your evening? Yes, you screwed up my evening. You screwed up my evening too. And so they have this big fight about who screwed up whose evening.
I love that. Oh, I cannot wait to see it. For you, what's it like directing this show that you were a part of 20 years ago? You know what I mean? When you were in that show, it's different from Cabaret when you directed it 20 plus years ago and then got directed again. This time around, you're getting to direct a show that you were a part of, that you were in.
Well, first of all, I'm not smart enough anymore. My memory's not good enough to do art. I would never be able to do it. So I'm glad I did it when I could. I don't remember as much about the original production as I should, because it was so new, and our minds were all overwhelmed with it,
and still trying to figure out the space, kind of figure out what. And I remember sitting in the audience going, "Wow, we're really close."
Yeah,
I hadn't been in a space like that.
I tell people that direct over there, you have to think 3-dimensional rather than 2-dimensional, because you got people on all sides of you, even in our thrust situation.
Mm-hmm. All about the diagonals.
It's about diagonals, and because if you line up across the stage, half the audience can't see you.
Right. Well, in this show, like you said, in the round, I think our audiences get excited because not all the shows are always in the round. So, you know what I mean? I always like to sit in the section that we never get to sit in because we never get to sit in that section, which I think is a lot of fun.
And I, as a director should, I think I've sat in every section for the rehearsals, and I'll sit in a different section until we open.
Sure.
And unfortunately, at times you see something that was really blatantly a screw up, and so you fix it.
Yeah, that's what rehearsals are for.
But it's a very fun place to work.
Do you find that there's certain shows, maybe like Art or even Good People? Do you find shows that that just lend themselves more to being in the round?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, Venus and Fur.
Venus and Fur.
Stephen Crandall years ago directed Who's Afraid of
Virginia Woolf. We did Wit and Doubt, and
It's Only a Play. We did that in the round as well.
It's Only a Play. So again, the literature over there, the quality of the literature over there is second to none. And I had a list of 20 shows. I went right down the list and did them all, and then I began looking. All that time, I was looking for more shows to do over the next 20 years.
Well, and some of the newer works that we're looking sometimes for the main stage, we find a brand new piece of theater that's fantastic, but it's not a main stage show. It's a strong adventure space show.
Yeah, some of the shows recent. I can't think of them right now, but there have been some recent ones.
There's not many newer works that are as family friendly as some of the classics, of course, that have been produced on our stage before.
Contemporary theater has no holds barred, pretty much. I mean, you keep the language, you keep some of the content.
Yeah.
And people just kind of have to buck up and take it.
Yep, they keep pushing that envelope farther and further along for sure.
But I guarantee you, this is one of the most cleverly written shows I've worked with in my career, and I think it's going to be. This cast is just killing it, and it's going to be fun.
That's awesome. We cannot wait. Of course, the concept, you come up with this great concept for the set, which I think audiences are going to really enjoy.
More in line with what I was telling my board 20 years ago. It's a very simple set, but it's very effective, I think.
Yes. Lissa reminded us Ruthless was also in the round. So yes, agreed. So many shows that have been in that round, which as an actor, I think is more fun too, because we never get to do that. You know, it's unique whenever we get to be in a show like that.
We've done main stage stuff. We've done stuff in regular configuration at the main adventure space. Mm-hmm. Now we're doing in the round, so you got a good variety of things to see.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure.
Experience.
For sure. Now you just, of course, at the end of February wrapped up Cabaret. Yeah. Big, huge musical. What's it like when you go from like that big, huge musical, tons of characters, tons of you're juggling tons of balls in the air, to Art when it's just 3 people in the round? Much more, I don't want to say simple, but definitely not as many moving parts.
Right, not as many moving parts. I love both.
Yeah,
I love both. I love the chance to direct so many people and make something as big as Cabaret come together as a cohesive piece. Mm-hmm. And I love working with. We had so many great people in Cabaret, but working with 3 people is a unique pleasure too, because you can really delve into things with them that you couldn't if you had 30 people in the show.
Oh yeah, for sure. But if one of them's gone, that's a third of your cast. You know what I mean? So
Harrison's been sick for a couple of days. We've missed a couple of rehearsals, but he was back last night with a Fury, so we're ready to go.
I have no doubt that they picked up where they left off and kept going for sure. Carla Fristo, one of our faves there, says, so excited to see it. She says she misses you, Alan. I love that.
Well, I miss her too.
Cindy says Equus. Equus was another show that just absolutely.
Whew, well, we did Equus at the main stage about 25 years ago, and I figured for sure I'd be fired after that. No joke.
Luckily you weren't.
No joke.
Which is good that they still supported and came saw that.
And one of the first shows in the first Adventure Space season, we did a show called Wit, in which the main character undressed at the end of it, completely naked, and walked into the light, if you will. And it was tastefully done, and all you saw was a silhouette. But Equus, we had nudity in that, so we've been unafraid to do what we thought was worth doing, not for shock value, but for the artistry of the piece.
Oh, completely. I mean, whenever you serve the script and serve what the original authors and the intent of the script, when we can do that on our stage and do it well, then we're all about it. Then there's no excuse for it because we're doing exactly what needs to be done. So
Right.
that's always, I think, so special about what we do here at ALT. With this show, were there any, surprises or challenges that came up that you were like, I wasn't expecting that with this show?
Well, there's this has been driving me crazy, frankly. But we've got this it's a lot of furniture on our set, and it's all black and white. And there's a section where one of them asks for something to eat, and so we have to go not off stage, but we've got kind of a staging place where they go get some olives and bring them in, and then there's a bowl of cashews, and then there are 2 beers and 2 glasses of wine and a bottle, and we had to figure out. I didn't want any crew on the stage.
Yeah.
So we had to figure out how to get those items on stage without slowing the show down.
Sure, yeah.
And most prop lists for these shows are, you might be searching for 20 or 30 props.
Yeah.
I only have about 6 props, but they're driving me crazy.
Listen, I will trade you prop lists any day from Shrek's prop list.
Not a chance in hell, my friend.
We have a thing we have to create called a snother for Shrek, which is a s'more, but different items in that. But yeah, sometimes it's just you think something's gonna be simple where you can just check it off your list, and then you realize, this is a little bit more of a obstacle than I thought it was gonna be. So.
Well, my tech team, our tech team, reminded me about saying this was going to be a real simple show, because we've just got some things in place that I don't want to give it away.
Right. No, yeah.
But it wasn't that simple either.
Well,
everybody knows I'm lying when I say it's very simple.
I've done that though before, where I'm like, oh, that's a simple show, because I'm comparing it to a more complex show. But then this turns out to be just as complex, just in a different type of complex.
Well, the timing of so much of it is crucial to success.
Yeah.
We had to create Tana Robertson, our brilliant helper that does so much of our tech work. We had to create a 3 foot by 4 foot white painting that we could legitimately think that it could be sold for $200,000.
That was art, if you will.
Yeah. So is that art or is that crap?
So, okay, question then. Talking about that piece, can somebody purchase that piece if they wanted?
We would auction that. We may auction that piece off.
I mean, we already have artwork, of course, in our silent auction at the Adventure Space.
And I would reduce it from $200,000 to $100,000 right
wow.
here on the spot.
Half off already.
Half off, folks.
So
I can pay you a rental per performance for us to use it.
Right. Yeah. So as you watch the production of art, if you think, man, I would love that piece right there.
It's a Tana Robertson original.
Right? It
could better.
Not only stars at the Adventure Space, it could be starring in your home with just the right amount of money donated to ALT. Carla Fristo, she says that's a steal. That sounds to me like a first bid right there, Carla Fristo.
100,000, Carla. Going once, going twice. Oh, there's another bid.
Right. I love it. I love that. Speaking of, we want to remind audiences, of course, you can get your tickets right now for art. We want to remind you, of course, the show runs April 7th through the 16th. That is Thursday, April 7th, which is a 2-for-1 performance. Tickets are 2 for the price of 1 on that first Thursday. Then, of course, Fridays and Saturdays at 8 o'clock. There is one Sunday matinee. We aren't having a show on Easter Sunday, the 17th, but on Sunday, April 10th at 2:30, that is our masked performance, where we will ask our audiences to come wearing a mask. We still have a handful of people of our patrons that cannot come to the theater unless everyone is masked in the audience. And after that show, in fact, as well, we will have our Adventure Space Talkback series, where there'll be a ton of conversation about the show and whether or not that gorgeous piece of Tana Robertson art on stage is considered art or not.
Yeah. It's a conundrum. It really is. Is it art or is it not art? And I think that discussion goes on. I refer back to many of the modernists of the day, Salvador Dali, Lichtenstein, who was the Jackson Pollock.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at those. Jackson Pollock is a perfect example. It looks like some kids just threw paint on a canvas. but it's highly regarded.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, do you think that's worth $1 million, or is it worth $5?
Sure. Yeah. Very true. Very true. Now, one thing I don't know about you, Alan. After all these years, did you ever paint? Did you ever do any sort
No,
of painting at all?
no, I
No,
can't draw.
can't draw.
I've created some amazing sets for not being able to draw.
I've seen many a drawing of yours when you pencil out a design work for a set.
My favorite story about a set design we did is we were talking about the set for the first Jesus Christ Superstar, and I drew it on a bar napkin. We were having a couple of Coors.
Sure.
And I drew it on a bar napkin, and it looked exactly. The set ended up looking exactly like the bar napkin, the drawing on the bar napkin, which was about this big. And we entered that set in the theater nonprofit organization, nonprofit theater. They had a design contest, and we built a design around that napkin.
Wow.
With photos from the show, and that napkin was the centerpiece, though.
No way, that's cool.
And it won the competition.
That is cool. That is cool. You never know. You never know.
So it's not as much as if you can do it, as if you can convey your vision.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. If you can get what you want from your
you can communicate well enough to get that across.
Yeah.
No matter what it takes.
I've done a couple of drawings where I'm like, I know this isn't right, but I want to. And Tana understands, and then she moves forward.
Yeah. Fortunately, we've always had people that understood what I was talking about.
Yeah. Well, and that's the role of a director, to get what's inside your head. Everyone understand that, actors, production team, and then finally, ultimately, your audience. And that's.
But I don't think anybody appreciates how maddening it can be to have such a strong vision and see it not coming together.
Yeah. 100%.
It's what makes me mean and crazy is the fact that you had this vision of what this should look and sound like, and you keep pushing your cast and turning them and leading them in this direction, and you're just damn lucky if you get it realized, but normally you do.
Yeah.
It may be in slightly altered form.
Oh, yeah. They might inspire you to have another layer of your vision and take it further down that path.
In rehearsal, somebody might say something that will say, "Oh, wait, that's the missing link I was looking for."
Yeah, 100%, for sure. There's our friend Kissy. Kissy says, "Hey, Mr. Jason and Mr. Allen."
Kissy, call me. I haven't heard from you in a long time.
And she says, "Hi, Miss Joe. I love you. Oh, we love you too, Kissy. We miss you. Hope you're doing very, very well." Jen says, "Laugh out loud. Let's talk about conveying a concept from y'all's brain to a digital projection, shall we?"
Well, he understands our language very well, because he did beautiful work on both of the projection shows we did.
And and has done, from I Love You, You're Perfect Now, Change, Rock of Ages, all the way back to 13 the musical, when Dennis started helping us out with sets and stuff like that with projection. So very true, Dennis. Sometimes we have something in our head that we have to communicate, and you guys do a great job figuring out what's in our head. So yes. Kissy says, yes, sir, she's going to give you a call. She says she totally understands as well. I love it. Well, Alan, we want everyone to come see, of course, this show. We want people to come see art. When they leave the theater after they see and experience art, what are you hoping audiences take away from that show?
Well, again, I think that that the value of art is so subjective to one's taste, that some people would, for instance, might come see Cabaret and get nothing from it, and other people were totally moved by it.
Yeah.
What's the difference between those two performances? There was no difference.
Right.
It was just how each person took it.
Yeah. And
so I think the discussion about the value of art and what it means to us as individuals and groups of people is important. But this show also deals with the complicated relationship of three men that are in their 40s. They're not that old, some of them, but we're pushing that toward that.
Sure.
And how they survive this crisis and end up continuing to be friends at the end of it.
Yeah.
Because it's a crisis for their relationship.
Yeah, for sure. And everyone has had some sort of existence with a friend that has some sort of coming to terms with.
You have to come to a realization that maybe you're not right all the time, and maybe you should listen to your friend.
Yeah.
And so it deals with that very strongly, but you don't realize that you're getting taught that lesson.
Yeah.
Until it's all over with.
And that's what theater's all about. That's what theater's all about right there. Well, again, we want to remind you, come see not only Tuck Everlasting this coming weekend, only 4 more chances, but go ahead and get your tickets for next weekend and the weekend after that, April 7th through the 16th. Art over, of course, at our Adventure Space. Definitely want to get tickets for that. General seating, still tickets, some tickets available, but they're going to go quickly once we get started with the show and word of mouth starts hitting. Don't forget, of course, that April 10th we'll also have the talk back session after that matinee performance. And then come down the pike, we'll have Shrek coming up. We'll have in late April more information about, of course, us hosting Callie O'Hara for the special event this summer. Look out in April as well for our camp schedules and summer camps that are becoming
our new season.
Our new season will be unveiling. We're wrapping up, finalizing all the aspects of our new season. Our new calendar will be coming out with the opening of Shrek. So a lot of things coming down that we got to get back to work on.
I wonder how all that gets done. Do we have some elves in the back?
Oh gosh, I wish we had some elves. I need some elves to
some little helpers that we could get, that we could, and we do have some little helpers, but I don't know how we get some of the stuff done we get done around here.
Right.
Really.
Well, and there's certain things that just we have to get done ourselves that nobody else really knows how to do all those little elements of our season. So again, though, if you want to be a part of next season, don't forget, of course, you can be a part of that by advertising in our ALT playbill. There's that order form there on Google Forms. But just give us a call, shoot me an email, jason@amarillo.littletheater.org. We'd love to get your business in our playbill and support ALT. Anything else, Mr. Allen, this week?
Good work, man.
Yeah, we appreciate you and all of you viewers, of course. Next week, hopefully, we'll be able to ask one of your actors or a couple of your actors to be a part of Thursdays at 3. We'll see if we can get.
Well, we'll see if I'm punishing any of them.
I know they may be having a look at you might have a Thursday at 3 rehearsal before the show. No, just kidding. We'll see if hopefully next week we'll have an actor or 2 or maybe all 3 of them can join us for Thursdays at 3 when we talk more about art. Don't forget, though, come see Tuck Everlasting this weekend. Even if you've seen it once, just like Dennis Humphrey said, it's a great thing to come back and see it even a second time. Alan, thank you so much.
And thank you for having me.
I got to get back to looking at my Shrek stuff for tonight rehearsal, and I hope you have a great rehearsal tonight as well.
I do too, and they better hope they have a good one too.
I love it. Well, we'll see you all either this weekend at ALT or next week at Thursdays at 3. Thank you all very much. We'll see you all then.